We're going to take you live to the Prime Minister briefly.
All humanity. His kindness, humility and devotion were admired by people of all faiths and people of none. That's why his loss is being mourned not by just over 1 billion Catholics around the world, but people from all walks of life. He was the first Jesuit Pope and the first to take the name of that great champion of the poor, St. Francis of Assisi. In the truest sense of the words, he practiced what he preached. The Holy Father was one of the most consequential leaders of this century and of our lifetime. He was indeed the people's Pope. He was tireless in advocating for the powerless, campaigning against poverty, for the rights of working people and for protecting our natural environment. Pope Francis stayed true to his origins. As pontiff, he never rose above small acts of kindness and compassion. What we saw in him was an abiding spirit of humility. There was a gentleness about him, but it was a gentleness that contained such inner strength. The Holy Father was devoted to his faith and found expression of that through his devotion to humanity. Tributes we have seen from all over the world speak for people's genuine sense of connection to Pope Francis, the qualities they recognised and admired in him. When I attended St Patrick's Cathedral last night and then attending Mass this morning, speaking to parishioners who have been deeply moved by the life and the legacy of the Holy Father. I will pause my other campaign-related events this morning. Today, flags will fly at half-mast on Commonwealth buildings right around Australia as a mark of respect to the Holy Father. Happy to take a couple of questions.
Prime Minister, who will represent Australia at Pope Francis's funeral?
Thanks. I've spoken with Her Excellency the Governor-General Sam Mostyn. The Governor-General was on her way to Turkey for the Anzac Day commemorations, and it is hoped the details are of course still being finalised, but Her Excellency would be an appropriate representative. I've also spoken last night with the Ambassador-designate to the Holy See, Keith Pitt. Keith Pitt, because of the illness of the Holy Father, he hasn't been able to present his credentials yet, but Mr Pitt is assisting with the logistics, and the Department of Prime Minister and Cabinet and the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade are finalising details.
PM, you've obviously been very personally moved as a Catholic of the Pontiff's passing. Can you talk a little about your faith and how it sort of nourishes you in the job that you do and things like that?
Oh, look,
what a day like this means.
Yeah. Look, I try not to talk about my faith in public. I say I was raised with three great faiths. I've said that a number of times, and at times like this, I think what people do is they draw on who they are, and certainly my Catholicism is just a part of me. And one of the things about the Holy Father is that he, for so many Catholics, I think his humility, for the way that he embraced the poor, the way that he embraced the social justice message that I see as the message of Jesus Christ, is really important for so many Catholics. And he was someone who I personally admired as well as someone who his values that he put forward. He had a great deal of courage as well. He was very much a modern leader in the way that he conducted himself. Just a couple more.
As a Catholic Prime
Minister, I mean, how significant was Pope Francis's legacy as a reformer of the Catholic Church, given that his predecessors were often very traditional in how they approached the role?
Pope Francis, I think, will be recorded in history as one of the most significant of all of the Holy Fathers. The change that he led was significant indeed, and he, of course, advocated for reforms that weren't universally supported as well. He had courage, and he showed true leadership, the first Jesuit to be the Pope. I think he leaves an extraordinary legacy. Just one more.
Prime Minister, you've spoken about the impact of this news on the morning's campaign events. For Australians looking on, how much of an influence will this have on the rest of the day and weeks ahead in terms of campaigning?
People will, I think, separate these things and can make their decisions about the election on the 3rd of May. You know, I think it's very important that we have a secular democracy in Australia, but people will, of course, for particularly people of Catholic faith, they will take time to reflect over coming days, coming so soon after Easter commemorations and the commemoration of the resurrection just the day before. It's a very significant time. Thanks very much.